Hey guys, I put my hair back. I've never had great hair. I've always been the girl with the hair that is thin and limp. Sorry, husband was asking me what I wanted for dinner. He's sweet, but I just needed a moment to myself. So yeah, I've always felt like a weirdo. There's always been things about me I didn't like, but I realized that there's actually genetic component to it. Like the fact I have thin hair that gets greasy very easily. It's my dad's hair. No offense to my dad, but I'm not a fan of it. And it's very limp. It doesn't really have much to it. And it's not just because I had two kids. It was always not that great. I mean, there was a time when I was a young person I had longer hair, but whatever. Um, Soft nails. I've always had soft weird nails that I always have to keep cut short. Um, you know, and I think we all like know that there's certain things about us that like aren't the typical like other people, and we're like we know everyone's different. That's fine, but still, there's certain things that make you go, we need to test our genetics. Anyways, so in the previous one, I talked about my mom, and I finished quickly and was talking about how um, I had a test done for myself. It was the MYH7 gene, which is connected to things that I think connect to hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, because I told the doctors my mom had that. They wanted me to do that genetic test because I had my kids do other genetic tests because they have autism and stuff. Um, the kids don't show signs of having it. I I do. I'm positive. And I told my sister she should go get tested too. But what I didn't look at, they had the one thing pop up, but then there were two other genes listed below, and I don't have the paper in front of me to tell you the name or the number of the gene. But I remember one gene had to do with something called middle ear inflammation. And I talked to my sister the other day and I said, you know what that reminds me of? And she goes, yeah, when I had all my ear infections. So there could be something to that. And I'm like, so what does heart issue connect to middle ear issue with inflammation? It's like, I don't understand why people, meaning doctors, aren't looking at how the processes, like, what does the heart do to other things? Or what does, like, you know, they say you have anxiety, but they don't look at the fact that you have gut issues and the whole gut brain connection. um how ADHD and all that can affect that, how the cervical flexors might be too tight in someone's body. I'm like, yeah, why am I always like this? So I have a whole muscle thing that I have to retrain here because it's always too tight. And finding out that there is some sort of concern with muscular skeletal pain, which is like, I don't know. I've always told people, doctors, since as far as I can remember, I know I was definitely like this in my 20s. Maybe it's more pronounced now, but I definitely had this in my 20s, and my husband has seen me like this most of our lives together, where I just get really huge fatigue as soon as I can feel that I've ovulated. I feel the changes in my body very strongly. And then I just it's like, woo, all of a sudden, where did all my energy go? And you don't want to get out of bed. And I always told the doctors, my wrists weak. And to this day, even when I'm not on my period, like it's more pronounced closer to my period, but I still feel in general, I'm not great at opening things. I don't feel like I'm very strong here. I feel like I have to do this a lot just to get myself. So I don't know, is that a blood circulation issue that makes you weak? Is it a muscle, skeletal, myofascial, joint, whatever, inner body issue? Um, I was concerned in looking at, I guess they call the rheumatologists, the type of doctors that look at like arthritis, pain, and stuff. But our insurance changed, and I don't have my first appointment with the new doctor until February 18th. Um, yeah. It's fun when you're like switching insurance like right after between not after Halloween, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and of course no appointments until now. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm in my kid's old room looking at all the water stains on the wall, going, "Are any of these new?" Because we've tried so many times to have somebody fix with the stucco outside or checking for leaks and stuff. And I feel like this seems like a tangent, but it's not. Trying to take care of your house is very similar to trying to take care of yourself and your body. You try so many things, you spend so much money, and half the time, did you really get it fixed? Yeah, that's the point. Anyway, um, so yeah, I kind of I'm down this rabbit hole, not just for me, but the things I noticed that I had similar to my mother. Now, I never had any specific heart issues. There was a time when Kaiser said I have mitral valve prolapse, but now they're like, no, you don't. They're so much fun. And I did like the whole heart monitor for 30 days, running on a treadmill. They had me get off and run back on or whatever, a couple of tests, and they said everything looked fine. But the genetic test obviously pinpointed that I have something connected to this. What I know that I have in common with my mother, besides the fiery moods, easy to anger. I mean, my dad kind of had that, but not as much as my mom. I don't know if she ever presented it with having anxiety, but depression, I definitely felt like it was there, and most women don't want to talk about being depressed, especially of a certain generation. And I feel like my whole mother's maternal lineage, there was things like stomach issues, ulcers, holding grudges, emotional stuff, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, and with that, I'm not surprised that a lot of people in the family have stomach stuff, gut stuff that's, presenting as all this kinds of like digestion issues and stuff. But the thing my mom had the most is I remember she would lay in the couch and we always would chalk it up to her heart stuff. But the stuff my dad was doing to help make her feel better was like she would just feel pain in her body, and so she would ask him to rub her legs or whatever and stuff. And I just look at myself now and I'm like, my feet always hurt when I get close to my period. My knees always hurt. Certain connecting wrist joints and elbows and little points of like certain connecting, I don't know if these are joint connecting points or myofascial points, but like little connecting points here and there and here and hips and stuff. And I also have issues with hypermobility and issues with like certain parts of my body that want to fire that shouldn't be doing the work, and other parts of my body that are supposed to be doing the work but they're not. And I've been working on like kind of just releasing the neck, because a lot of the anxiety and stress I feel like manifests here. And I've only discovered recently that there's something here called the vagus nerve, but I don't know if it's a nerve issue. I might have like more of a muscle issue or both. So that's kind of what I'm working on. And so I'm doing this program online where you work on kind of pretending to swallow and relaxing this and trying to relax your shoulders and relaxing your chin in, because sometimes we go more this way when we're standing. Posture. It's all those kind of things that you think you don't know why you're doing it wrong, but you are. And I remember like sitting like this a lot as a kid, and I don't know if it's just not having enough strength to hold your own body up. But yeah, this makes me more interested in the muscle skeletal pain and how it connects to heart problems and what affects one more than the other. Neither of my parents really figured out if they had ADHD or autism, and they're not a generation who would have done that. I'm like that generation before that didn't know until now because of my children. So there's a lot. I feel like I have a long list and it never ends. And I keep telling myself, you're not a hypochondriac. There's really some stuff going on with you, and it might be your